Next, the heavy-duty freeze plugs can be dressed with Loctite 609 retaining compound, and attention to detail starts here. Line them up and knock them in easy. Like the cam bearing has an annulus, which is a fancy term for groove, on the outside of the bearing because there's not one in the block to get oil to the cam journals. Installing these is the first step of our assembly. Here's a quick tip. Always install the cam bearings first, because a small amount of bearing material can be scraped off into the oil gallery during installation. Having all the gallery plugs removed allows air to be blown into the passages and force material out so it doesn't contaminate the oil and ruin bearings.
Means we need to install 1/2 of the rear main seal and lube the bearings. This engine's not going to sit around. It's going from the stand to the dyno where we will prime it. So Joe Gibbs BR30 oil will be our choice of lube. Using care and caution, gently lower the crank into the block. Now here's a tip. Do not spin it at this time because the bearings are not round until the cap is torqued. Now the caps can be positioned and tapped with a dead blow to seat it in the register and snugged up. Using a large dead blow, smack the front of the crank to the rear and the rear to the front. This squares up the thrust bearing before it's torqued. The same values apply with the crank installed. 65 on the inners, 35 on the outers. Using oil was an advantage in this case. It lets the crank spin easier than with assembly lube, so you feel how free it turns over. There should be absolutely no bind. Thrust is a go as well at 7 thousandths. Now the oil gallery plugs can go in. We'll use high pressure lube on them to avoid galling. No sealant here since they're inside the timing cover. We had a custom cam ground specifically for our 2-barrel application. Now it's a Comp Cam's TK series solid roller, which has the most aggressive lobe design for a standard rocker arm ratio. Duration at 50 thousandths on the intake is 251 degrees. The exhaust is 255. Lift at the valve with a 1.5 ratio rocker is 645 on the intake, 645 on the exhaust. Lobe separation angle is 107. Comp's ultimate adjustable timing set will make the big link. On the back is a Torrington bearing which reduces friction. Now this setup is adjustable 6 degrees advance or retard in 2-degree increments. A Comp roller cam button will also go in and gets retained with the cam bolts.